Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Let me wish everyone a happy New Year and thank you for being with us today. We had to change a venue, so apologies for any errors regarding protocol, and I know we are amongst diplomats and we should be extra careful, but on the other hand, this should be seen as a more relaxed opportunity for us to meet and for our president and presidential candidate to have the opportunity to communicate with you, given that we are very conscious of the fact that we are a member state of the European Union. We do have very close and very friendly relations with all the countries that you represent, and our agenda takes this fact very firmly under consideration. So with these few words and welcoming you once again, Mr. President, the floor is yours.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, when it was known that we'll have the lunch, somebody told me, why do you waste your time? Nobody's voting.
Don't vote.
But I respond to them that I feel the ambassadors serving in Cyprus as friends of Cyprus, and I build personal friendship with them. And I consider you to be also ambassadors for Cyprus, and you are the people that you are sending the messages from Cyprus to your countries. But let me first of all to thank you for your presence here today. Always useful to be able to communicate in person with the ambassadors. It's our belief that through a tight and continuing collaboration with our counterparts, we can handle effectively all the major issues we have at hand. And especially nowadays that Europe is facing challenging times once again. Times that call for us to show unity and courage. And it is clear in our minds that Russia's armed attack is more than an attack on Ukraine. It is an attack on every country's right to decide its own future. For us, it's a matter of principle. As a country which is a victim of invasion and occupation, we cannot accept any interference in the sovereignty and territorial integrity of a country. But I want to share it with you. Even if Cyprus wasn't a victim of such a behavior, our position will be the same. We have nothing against Russian citizens. We should consider them, the majority of them, as victims of their authorities. You know that I'm personally of Western orientation, but the Western world for me is not a geographical designation. It's about freedom and democracy. Therefore, I cannot compromise with the leaders like Putin in Russia, the leader in North Korea and Iran. Needless to mention Erdogan. Dear friends, the enduring position of democratic rallies since its establishment was and remains the pursuit of a settlement of the Cyprus issue on the agreed framework of bizonal, bicommunal federation with political equality, as is stipulated in the relevant resolutions of the United Nations and without guarantors and occupation armies. The elections that we'll have in about 25 days will decide whether, with the next president of the Republic, we'll have a new round of negotiations. With our country being a full member of the European Union, the settlement must respect international law as well as the European values and principles for the benefit of all Cypriots. This, as I often publicly say, will be the most radical reform regarding my country. We acknowledge the difficulties placed upon the efforts of restarting the dialogue by Turkey and the unacceptable rhetoric of a two-state solution and the aggression of Turkey. We have stated our proposal on security and energy. Energy must be the catalyst for the solution. Unfortunately, so far, the natural gas has been a cause of friction. It must be transformed as an aspect of peace. Security, on the other hand, has to do with the cooperation between Europe and NATO. Without the solution of the Cyprus issue, problems are caused to the smooth cooperation among European Union and NATO. A settlement will also send a message of coexistence between two different religions at a time when radical Islam is a problem caused either by the jihadists or the Muslim Brotherhood. We will set a good example that religion is not a barrier to cooperation, as religion has never been a problem between Turkish Cypriots and Greek Cypriots. And I want to share another thing with you. Turkish Cypriot culture is closer to Greek Cypriot culture rather than the Turkish culture. We really mean and we want peace. We want Muslims and Christians. We want Turkish Cypriots and Greek Cypriots to be able to live together. The Cyprus problem is a message also for the relations between Arabs and Israel. At the time, as a European citizen, I'm concerned about the change in demographics in the occupied territories caused by many settlers from Turkey. At the same time, I'm very concerned about the problems caused of the flows of immigrants in combination with our society's low birth rate. It worries me that the thousands who arrive here will increase significantly in a few years and become a sizable percentage of our population. And while we are worried about the radicalization of Islam in other countries, we may have it in Cyprus as well. And I don't exclude the danger of having the establishment of Muslim Brotherhood even in Cyprus. That's why a Cyprus settlement will also solve the migration issue and transform Cyprus from a cause of friction into the Switzerland of the Mediterranean, a meeting point for dialogue and cooperation. I would like to thank you once again for your presence here today, and I'm looking forward for a fruitful discussion. Thank you once again and Happy New Year.